Well, coming up, we got Super Junior Tag League 2024. So this is going to take place across 8 shows from October 24th through November 2nd. The finals being held at Power Struggle. Tournament consists of 12 teams with 6 in the A block, 6 in the B block. And this is the first dual block Super Junior Tag League since they've rebranded the tournament from the tag tournament to a league.
I missed the tournament. I wish they would do. I liked the tournament
So
personally.
I agree. I think for this division, I think the single elimination tournament worked out better versus doing the league.
Yeah.
Uh,
The one thing is with round robin, you can have a more you can have odd numbers of teams, whereas like with a single elimination, unless you're doing like you know the buys, which buys suck, but unless you're doing buys, you have to have like either 8 or 16 teams.
yeah, yeah. Well, here's what the field looks like. So in the A block, we have the former champions Clark Connors and Drill Maloney. Got Sho and Yoshinobu Kanemaru, Robbie Eagles and Kosei Fujita, Hiromu Takahashi and Bushi, Risuke Taguchi and Dragon Daya from Dragon Gate, and Tiger Mask and Captain Suicida from CMLL. Then over in the B block, we got Kushida and Kevin Knight, the champions, the Jet Setters. We got Catch 22, TJP, and Francesco Akira. We got Yo and our good friend Rocky Romero. Got the DKC and Ninja Mac, Taiji Ishimori and Robbie X, and then Paris Da Silva and Jude London, the Velocities. And we had a lot of questions here, kind of very similar. So Rambo is saying, I believe the Super Junior Tag League is War Dogs to lose. I see them winning as the next logical accomplishment for them in that division after holding the titles for such a long time. Who else do you see as favorites to win the whole thing? Les Commission 7252 says, who are your picks to win and runner-ups from each block? I believe at the end of the day, we will see a multi-man tag match at Wrestle Kingdom for the junior titles. And Def Triangle 720 says, who are your picks to win Junior Tag League?
Yeah. So I guess just my general thoughts, and hopefully this answers some of those questions. I think by and large, a majority of the teams that we see here are either sort of just makeshift teams that really don't have a lot of skin in the game. They probably aren't going to mean much moving forward. Then you have your teams of like established New Japan guy teams with a fun partner from outside who is likely not coming to the company long term, and those are good to kind of mix things up. But you do have a couple little wrinkles of people that are probably looking to impress, make a name for themselves, maybe open up the door to return for more dates down the line. Looking at, Robbie X as one of those guys in particular. Same thing with the Velocities. That's another team. It's probably a good sign that they've decided to bring Ninja Mac back.
Yeah, what I'm hearing is he's done with Noah. So I think that this could be him coming into New Japan.
But in terms of teams that I think could realistically win, um, I would say out of the A block, the War Dogs are my number one pick. Beyond that, really, I guess I could see Eagles and Fujita being potential winners, and to a lesser degree Hiromu and Bushi, but I think that ship's almost passed. I feel like your top two teams that have the best shot would be those two. Maybe your
Yeah,
dark horse would be Sho and Kanemaru, just because they like to push House of Torture.
right. And they could easily cheat to win to get the advantage.
But I mean, I think War Dogs are like your number one pick out of that group easily for me.
Yeah, I
And then
agree.
in B block, I mean, Kushida and Kevin Knight, they need to do respectable, but they shouldn't really be winning it. I'd be shocked if they did as champions. Um, but with TJP and Francesco Akira there, that's one they've got so much success in this division. It's hard to overlook them. And then, Ishimori coming in with Robbie X, that doesn't scream tournament winners to me, but Ishimori is a guy that they've trusted in the past, and maybe that's a team they could go with. I'm not banking on it, but I think for me, I think your top two teams are either TJP and Francesco Akira or War Dogs, probably.
Yeah, right now I'm thinking War Dogs are gonna win the whole thing. They drop the belt. I think that's a great way for them to rebound and then get them a spot in the dome. From the B block to face them in the finals, I could see them doing Jet Setters winning that B block. Then you do Jet Setters versus War Dogs. They beat them in the
Sure.
finals, and then you do the third match at the Tokyo Dome.
Yeah, Gato likes to do that, so they could
Yeah,
easily do that. Plus, with it being a league, we've seen crazy scenarios in the past where, like some of our esteemed listeners have mentioned, we could still wind up with a multi-man tag match. I mean, look at the year the Young Bucks showed up. We're just like, fuck all this noise. We're inserting ourselves into the tag team title match.
yeah.
So stuff like that can happen. You just never know. Is it set up to where just the winner of each block just faces off? We're not doing any of the weirdness from G1 this past year.
Yeah, what I understand, yeah, it's just going to be winner of the A block or the winner of the B block will face off at Power Struggle.
Okay. Well, what would your ideal A block B block match be if you had the book, Jeremy? Because I know what mine is.
I think I would either do War Dogs and Catch 2-2, or I would do Ichiban Sweet Boys and Catch 2-2.
Um, for me, I think it's pretty easy. I've got War. I think War Dogs are going to win the whole thing. I don't think that there's a better set of young, fresh, plucky underdog baby faces than the Velocities.
Mm,
That if I want to have a super compelling match that establishes all guys, I have the Velocities go to the finals against War Dogs and then lose.
that could be the call.
That's what I would do. I don't think they'll do it. But if you got any balls out there, Gato, and you're listening to this right now, you're gonna do right by my boys Paris De Silva and Jude Ludden.
Yeah, those guys are awesome, and they've been having a lot of great matches over the years. They had a great series with Aussie Open a few years ago, so yeah, it's great to finally see them here in New Japan.
Well, with all that being said, we have Super Junior Tag League Road to Power Struggle, 4 shows over the next week before we return. And it looks like on this tour, some cool stuff. We got Daiki Nagai and Masatori Yasuda back doing their Young Lion series, wrestling against one another. So that's exciting. But we're going to mostly focus on the tag team matches here. So on night one, you've got are all of these tournament no. Okay, so we've got quite a few preview matches throughout the tour. It looks like Jacob Austin Young is back on the tour, so that's cool. But in terms of tournament matches on night one, you've got Capitan Suicida and Tiger Mask versus LIJ. Second match, you've got House of Torture versus the War Dogs, as well as Dragon Dia and Taguchi versus TMDK. On night two, 1026. For tournament matches, we have the Velocities versus Chaos, Ninja Mac and DKC versus the Bullet Club, and then your main event, you have Catch 2-2 versus the Intergalactic Jet Setters. That one always delivers. So that's a big one to look out for.
Yeah,
Night three, they are coming to us from Cork and Hall. You've got actually, we got Super Junior Tag League the whole night through, so
yep,
that's cool. So you got Capitan Suicida and Tiger Mask versus House of Torture, uh, Ninja Mac and DKC versus the Velocities, Dragon Dia Taguchi versus LIJ, Intergalactic Jet Setters versus Bullet Club. There, it looks like there is one match breaking up everything here, where it's Jado, Wato, and Umino versus just five guys, Doki, Sonata, and Taka. So the return of Master Wato there in Cork and Hall.
yeah. So a double preview there, a preview for Wato and Doki, and a preview for Umino and Sonata.
Nice. Your semi-main event of the evening, TMDK versus the War Dogs. And then your main event, you have Catch 2-2 versus Chaos, Rocky Romero and Yo. So big ups to Rocky putting himself over big in Corkin. You know what I'm saying? Main event.
Yeah,
And then on 10/28, second night from Cork and Hall, you've got Velocities versus Catch 2 in the opener. Uh, Tiger Mask and Suicida versus the War Dogs. Ninja Mac and DKC versus Jet Setters. Daya and Taguchi versus House of Torture. LIJ versus TMDKs. Okay, so another preview match in the same spot just before the top two matches. So you got Shingo and Suji taking on Oiwa and Zack Sabre Jr. previews for Power Struggle.
Mhm.
And then your semi-main event, Chaos versus Bullet Club. And then the main event, LIJ versus TMDK. And that is going to do it for our preview for the next. Anything you're really looking forward to there? Anything notable that you're seeing?
Well, also like you mentioned, like the War Dog catch 2-2, War Dog Jet Setters catch 2-2. We know those matches always kind of deliver. So looking forward to that. I'm curious to see what Rocky's going to be looking like in this tournament with Yo. Also, we know their history, Roppongi 3K, and Rocky's been wrestling all over the world, and usually he kind of turns it up when he comes to Japan. So it would be cool to see him and Yo put
We
on some
we
great
we
matches.
might be counting that team out a little bit, just given where how much success Rocky's had in this division. Yo's returning from injury.
Mhm.
We already kind of know the heartbreak that was there when he went down with that injury when he was challenging for the title. Now he's back, and they're doing some main event spots.
Mhm.
Two big matches in Cork in back to back. So
Yeah.
you know
um Night 3 at Cork, and I think Jet Setters against Robbie X and Ishimori could be really great.
that's another one too. Yeah, we talked about the Bullet Club team might get pushed, but they're given some high end spots on the card as well. So just some interesting things to keep your eyes on. Based on what I'm seeing, it doesn't look like I'm saying Velocity should go far, but it doesn't look like it's going to happen that way just based on card alignment. You never know, but we'll see.
Yeah.